So here's the valve train components that I got to upgrade these cylinder heads with. So here's the original intake and exhaust valve. This is a new SPI exhaust valve, new SPI intake valves. These are new exhaust valve springs and new intake valve springs. The springs that I got are replacement springs for an HO 5 liter. So they're not a real high spring rate or anything. They're just a slight upgrade above the flat tappet springs that were on the heads. So let's start looking at what the intake and exhaust valves are from the factory setup. So 1.781 diameter head on the intake. The valve stem diameters are 0.341 and roughly a 5.07 length, and I think that's common between both of the valves. So they're both the same length, same valve stem diameter. The one thing that's different about the stems between the intake and the exhaust is where on the stem the valve groove is. It's down further on the exhaust valve than it is on the intake valve. And part of the reason for that is they use a rotator cup on the valve spring retainer on the exhaust valve. And the purpose of the rotator cup is so that the valve can turn slightly when it's running. And that helps the valve seat last longer. So that's why that's different. So now let's look at the valves that I got for this engine. And here's the this is the intake valve that I got for it. And what that is it's an intake valve for a early 70s Ford 351 Windsor. These valves have the same dimensions in the stem and in the valve lock groove, and they're the same length, but the head is bigger on these ones. And I looked, the engine I looked up this for was like a 73 Ford Torino with a 351 Windsor in it. And you know, that's a 1.84 diameter valve with the same size stem and length and groove. So that'll be, after the machine work is done, it'll fit in there the same way as the stock valve did. And hopefully the larger diameter will give us a little bit more flow. And if you're interested in the valve spring part numbers, it's that one there, melling on the exhaust. That's the exhaust spring. And here's these are the intake valve springs. So remember, the other thing here I've got is a new set of valve locks. So, but I am going to reuse the stock valve spring retainers. The exhaust valve is a different story. What I wanted to do, I wanted to get basically the GT40P valves, and I could find them, but the ones that I found were a lot more expensive than the exhaust valve that I ended up going with. So what I ended up getting was the exhaust valve for the 73 Torino with the 351 Windsor in it. So let's first look at the diameter of this one. It's basically a 1.456 head on there with the 0.341 stem, and it's the 5.07 length. And comparing that to the 351 Windsor valve, It's also 5.07 inches long, and it's got the 3.41 stem. So the stem diameter and the length is the same on the 351 Windsor valve, and this valve diameter comes out at a 1.5, roughly 1.54. So I'm going up in sizes on the intake and exhaust valve head. But one of the problems I ran into going with the not being able to use the Explorer valve and using the 351 Windsor valve is that it's that groove height problem there again, right here. That groove is in a different location than the groove on the 351 Windsor. If I had been able to get the Explorer valve, which was the 154, that would be in the same place as the original valves. But what problem is that going to cause? Well, when I switch to that one, it's going to move the retainer up, right? And that's going to change the installed height of the valve spring. So my plan for that is to shim the valve spring up. But this is about a 90 thousandths difference here between those. So it means I'm going to have to use a very thick shim. And I'm not sure what kind of complications that's going to result in. Something some people do sometimes on the valves is they put a back cut in this area here. So that's the seating face right there. Sometimes the valve has this kind of like a little ski jump shape onto it. What you can have done is have a back cut put on that. And sometimes some people say that helps with the flow. So I'm also going to have the machine shop do that. The angle I've heard people doing on the back for back cuts on the intake valve is about 35 degrees here. And that'll kind of knock that ski jump down a little bit and help and supposedly make the air flow around the valve more smoothly and get more flow out of it. And then there's also the same thing on the exhaust valve, and you put the back cut on here. And the angle for the back cut that I've heard of is about 25 degrees. So that's something else we can do to try and improve the flow, especially the low lift flow around the valves. So the next thing is I got to get myself to the machine shop and ask them to do the machine work on this and get these valves installed. Alright, I got the cylinder heads back from the machine shop, and I'm getting ready to put them on the flow bench for one last flow test. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you the work that was done on them and the work that was done on the valves. So, looking at the intake valve, and I talked with the machinist, and we both kind of agreed on a 30-degree back cut here. And the exhaust valve, just like the intake valve, we also did a 30-degree back cut on that. So there's the 30-degree back cut. Here's a look at the 3-angle valve job that was done. And let me just get the valves in, and then we'll go over to the flow bench and get that last flow test done. Alright, so I got the cylinder head back up on the flow bench, so let's flow the intake and the exhaust one more time, and then we can go over the results, see how we did. So here's the results after doing the larger intake and exhaust valve with the 3-angle valve job. So looks like by doing that we picked up a little bit here, maybe like 2 CFM, around like 6, 9, 5, 7, 4, and 2. So it does seem to me like it helped the mid-range lift a little bit, and which is good because I think that's going to help my cause a little bit. And then over here you can see the total flow gains that we got. And okay, so I think that those are honestly pretty halfway decent gains for these cylinder heads. And if we look down here, these are the flow numbers on the exhaust port after the 3-angle valve job. So maybe broke even there. About 3 to 4 CFM there, maybe close to 8 CFM there. About 9, 7 or 8 there, and about 8 there. So that's anyway, that's where we're at with the exhaust port flows. And over here is what our total flow gains were. And the thing that's pretty good is the balance between the intake valve flow and the exhaust valve flow. That's like that number there is about 85% of that. So that's a pretty good balance, really. So at any rate, to wrap it up, I'm pretty happy with the flow improvements that we've gotten out of this, and I think with these gains down here below 400 thousandths, I think even with that stock camshaft, I think we're going to see some improvements in the power. Anyway, that's all I got for this week. We'll see you next time.